Hello, good morning students. Please subscribe the channel, drop a like, share and comment. This is Shree Vishnu Art Press Publications exercise number 1 and 2 on the speed of 90 words per minute. Start. There is yet another argument raised by the learned counsel about the witness Kailash turning hostile as noted above, and it does not surprise us that a witness has turned hostile who could have corroborated the entire episode, but the same does not make any difference inasmuch as one of the other witnesses, Raju, named in the FIR, was also not produced. Learned counsel for the appellant stressed that this also further adds to a serious doubt about the presence of the eyewitness, and there is no explanation as to why Raju was not produced. In our opinion, non-production of a nominated witness does not amount to a proof that the incident is false. The defense on behalf of the appellant did not bring on record any such witness that may add to the theory of reasonable doubt that is sought to be advanced by the learned counsel for the appellant. After having exhausted the arguments on the merits of the appeal, both the learned counsel appearing for the accused appellants virtually narrowed down their submissions on the question of sentence. Accordingly, the nub of the appeal in hand is the quantum of sentence which is liable to be awarded to the accused appellants. In order to answer the question regarding the quantum of sentence which is liable to be enforced against the accused appellants, looking into the nature of the criminality committed by them, it will be prudent to discuss in brief the meaning and impact of the words knowledge and intention in relation to section 304 part 1 as well as part 2 IPC. We have come across judgments relating to the interpretation of the words knowledge and intention and the distinction between the two, while proceeding to consider the sentencing of the convicts by the trial court and the assessment of the evidence in order to appreciate the argument on behalf of the appellants that the appellants deserve a lesser sentence in terms of section 304 of the Indian Penal Code. There are a large number of cases that are available on the issue, but in order to mention a few that meet the point, we begin with the judgment in the case of Hari Singh and another versus State of Haryana 2008 15 SCC 753. As to understand the distinction referred to above, the relevant paragraphs of the said judgment are paragraph numbers 26 to 30. The essence of the said paragraphs contained within its fold reflects that intention is a conscious state of the mind coupled with an aroused activity for the purpose of achieving a preconceived end, resulting in the conduct of the person so as to bring about a certain result. However, such an intention may not necessarily be premeditated, whereas mere knowledge, in contrast to intention, signifies a mental state of realization pertaining to the awareness of certain facts, but at the same time, without reflection of an active faculty so as to achieve a determined end. Mr. Puran Saxena, a law graduate but not practicing as an advocate, has preferred the present petition, claiming to be an unemployed youth and engaged in doing social work for the upliftment of Sikkim. There are no details of the social works the petitioner has been doing in the past. The petitioner claims that after his graduation, when he came back to Sikkim in the year 2013, he observed that there was no overall development in the state and the money received from the center had not been utilized in the proper place for the upliftment of the downtrodden people of Sikkim. There is no further clarification to this broad spectrum allegation. It is his plea that whenever he would visit remote areas, he would notice poor people staying in deplorable condition and thus was anxious to find out the exact reason as to why, despite the central government providing funds to the people of Sikkim, have not been proportionately uplifted. Besides the allegation, there are no facts pleaded or proof submitted to substantiate the allegations. The petitioner claims that he started doing research in the matter and came across shortcomings in the functioning of the governmental machineries. The petitioner claims that those shortcomings were that the funds were utilized on non productive schemes. There was no proper allocation of funds to such schemes which would directly benefit the downtrodden. The funds were provided for religious matters. Funds were not provided for construction of roads, electricity, establishment of specialized hospitals, schools, research work, technical education, medical facilities, etc., which are the basic requirements of the people. There is not a single document filed with the writ petition to substantiate the statements made about the petitioner's perceptions of the said shortcomings. It is claimed by the petitioner that while doing research, the petitioner came across one notice inviting tender published in the newspapers. The petitioner, therefore, sought for copy of the NIT under the Right to Information Act 2005 and the petitioner was furnished with copy of the NIT published in the newspapers. On a perusal of the NIT, the petitioner claims that he was shocked to notice that the publication of the NIT was done in a casual manner. The petitioner claims that the publication of the tender has not been done in widely circulated papers insofar as the petitioner's knowledge goes, but also states that the publication shows that it was published in e-tender. It is the perception of the petitioner that only a handful of contractors are conversant with computer knowledge. Yet another grievance of the petitioner is that the tender does not disclose the nature of work and schedule of work. Petitioner could not point out any such non-compliance from the records of the case. The petitioner states that he also received one corrigendum dated 5/7/2017 through the process of the Right to Information Act 2005. The petitioner claims that on examining the invitation for bids dated 23/5/2017, the petitioner came to learn how public money from the government exchequer had been embezzled.